What's going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings will be looking for the quarterback of the future, and will it be Michael Penix Jr. rising on up? Will it be Drake May? It's going to be May. Jane Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, or, of course, JJ McCarthy, and the whole JJ to JJ connections certainly could and should be there. And McCarthy had his pro day in Ann Arbor on Friday. And, by the way, do you know that, so JJ stands for Jonathan James McCarthy. So he's literally Big John McCarthy, which, I don't know, this image haunts my dreams. Like, this is worse than the Kupfansky. Also, he's looking like Goku right there. It's good times, man. But, reportedly, Kwesi adofo-mensah and Kevin O'Connell not in attendance, but that can be explained away because Gessling clarifying, my understanding is the Vikings will opt for private workouts with a lot of these quarterbacks, gives them more opportunities to structure workouts based on what they want to evaluate. Basically, a team will set it up. Kevin O'Connell put the inputs like, hey, how about you run a couple of things that are going to be very common to our offense? How about play action? How about under center? How about all that stuff? And it does make sense. Now, there's been reports that the private workout has already happened, or it's going to happen next week. Either way, the Vikings are going to get a close look, like they will, and do their diligence on most of the top quarterbacks, as well as Josh McCown and new assistant quarterbacks and assistant offensive coordinator Grant Udinski. Cool. Also in attendance today, Josh McCown was recently at the USC Caleb Williams Pro Day, so he's getting his Delta Airlines miles as well as Marriott Rewards points. He's getting them done, man. Matt Miller took a look at the workout, and basically he was pretty impressed. JJ McCarthy throwing session lasted about 25 minutes. It was clean, forever unclean. Just 2 clear misses. He showcased zip and touch while hitting a lot of deep routes. He told me he wanted to show his touch placement. And did well there. McCarthy has easy power and velocity. And, by the way, so Matt Miller, ESPN, so he came in as an outsider. And didn't have any connections, didn't play back in the day, all that stuff. And he rose up. It's sort of like Dane Brugler of the Athletic. So respect the hell out of guys who do the work and rise up on their own merits, man. So Miller came away impressed. And I know a lot of people point out, well, McCarthy doesn't have the numbers, blah, 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 blah. All he did was win, especially on third down, especially when Michigan really needed some throws. And also, I always go back. So it's almost like with McCarthy and Penix, people forget what happened in the semifinals games. They only remember the national title game where Penix sort of got beat up, but so did the entire freaking Washington football team. And also McCarthy only threw 18 passes because that's all they had to do. But Penix was dynamite in the semifinals against the Longhorns, and McCarthy was fantastic against Alabama. Perhaps you've heard of them. They're kind of an okay team and an okay defense. 17-27 for 221 and 3 touchdowns, 91.9 QBR on a scale of 100. Like, when they needed a big-time throw, especially late in the game, McCarthy delivered, and that's exactly what you need. We have an untrained eye, but I feel like, so when you're in a restaurant, food critics and chefs, like, they can break down every single component of a dish, whereas Johnny 12-pack walks in like myself and be like, hey, this is good. I feel like that's me assessing quarterbacks and football players. But to me, McCarthy, like, all the throws were there. They definitely went on the full spectrum, and a lot of solid velocity as well as placement. And he definitely stressed deep ball. Now, he can throw the ball at 3 levels. He can throw left, which, people are trying to put the Mitchell Trubisky Ponder labels on him. Now, Miller said that he wanted to showcase his touch. I thought that some of his throws were a little bit too much zip. I think that he could work a little bit more on said touch. His footwork was above average. Footwork was very damn good. And even when he was moving on the run, even like bootlegs to his left and throwing against his body, like foot placement was very good. Also, the off-script plays were tight. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's easy to look good at your pro days. Everyone in the history of mankind has had a good pro day except for Teddy. But the off-script plays, yes against no defense, yes against no rushers. Like, he was looking good. He also, can add some good weight to his frame. Like, he's 6'3" and he's relatively skinny. But also, just the way they interacted with his teammates, and that's what's really important for coaches to be there. Because not only seeing a player up close and personal, like, when you see a player actually practice, I forget who said this. Might have been Bursic, but basically, once you get a player on the practice field, you know right away if they're a player or not, right? And that's why with the internet and streaming and everything, you're like, oh, why even travel to these pro days? Why even go to the combine? Why even go to the Senior Bowl? Why even go to games in person? Right? Just actually seeing it with your own eyes, it's very important, and you get a better perspective of it. And also, just seeing how he interacts with the staff members, seeing how he interacts with some of the coaches there, seeing how he interacts with his teammates. Now, yes, they know that everything is being watched, but you can tell when things are forced and fake. But, I mean, JJ McCarthy's teammates love him. They absolutely do. And also, a lot of the underclassmen, like his tight end, Colson, is probably going to be a first-round pick next year. Like, he was there. Like, didn't have to be. And I feel like all of his teammates would have attended his birthday party, which is really important, man. So I feel like, McCarthy, even though he's young, like, he does have that respect. He's a 3-year starter for the Wolverines, and I think that he will bring that into Minnesota. Now, if and when the Vikings do likely trade up and go get him, like, it's a big gamble. Fully understand it. Like, his numbers aren't huge, but all the kid did was win. All the kid did was do exactly what his team and Harbaugh asked him to do, and they had great success with it. And I think that his skills are highly translatable. I also think that the fact that he came from a pro style adjacent offense really helps. I mean, he's going to have a lot more experience under center than some of the other quarterbacks coming in, and that is important as well. But I think that the Vikings could bring McCarthy into the perfect spot where if they trade up and go get him, either at 4 or 5, and he's allowed to sit for maybe a full year, maybe a half a year, maybe whatever, behind Sam Darnold. Because remember, Darnold's walking into a damn good situation too, with O'Connell, with McCown, with the weapons, with everything. So, like I said, I'm not even going to pretend that I'm so narcissistic that, even though I'm kind of narcissist, that I'm the be-all, end-all when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. Like, if McCarthy's the guy, great. If May's the guy, great. If Penix is the guy, great. If Daniels is the guy, if Bo Nix is the guy, if Spencer Rattler's the guy, I'm in. You son of a B, I'm in. I trust the guys who, the scouting staff and Kevin O'Connell and Josh McCown and Kwesi, who are betting their lives and their livelihoods on this. Well, maybe not lives, but jobs, careers, livelihoods on one of these kids working out. Yeah, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. But I think that there is a lot to like about JJ McCarthy, and I think that he is going to grow and show and develop into a very solid NFL quarterback, and I think that he's a guy that the Vikings can win a lot of games with. Yeah, there you go. But your thoughts? JJ McCarthy Pro Day. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.